Welcome to our daily news program, broadcasting you live here on Canal Algérie. Coming up next. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboun's address at the nation's palace, a significant annual tradition highlighting the political, economic, and social achievements, in addition to the perspectives for the upcoming year. The President's in-depth analysis of the nation's progress before the two houses of Parliament and a comprehensive evaluation setting course for the upcoming year. Over the past 4 years, Algeria successfully revitalized its constitutional institutions, a robust foundation for the building of the new Algeria. Relentless bombings continue in Gaza. The Zionist attacks escalate, targeting hospitals and refugee camps, worsening the already chaotic humanitarian situation. Good evening and welcome again. First of all, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, delivered a speech at the nation's palace here in Algiers before the two houses of Parliament. Upon his arrival, the head of state was received by the President of the Council of the Nation, Salah Boudjil, and the President of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Boughali. The President of the Republic then greeted the senior officials who had also come to greet him: the Prime Minister, Nadir Al-Abawi, the President of the Constitutional Court, Omar Belhaj, the Army General, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, Said Shingriha, the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency, Boualam Boualam, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, the Justice Minister, the Interior Minister, and the Finance Minister. The President's address to the nation before the two houses of Parliament is an annual tradition he has instituted to assess the country's political, economic and social achievements and situations while defining next year's perspectives. In his address, the President of the Republic meticulously evaluated the nation's political and economic achievements before the representatives of both parliamentary houses. Delving into the social landscape, he outlined a visionary roadmap for the upcoming year. Rania Al-Bahri explains.
During a speech delivered to the nation on Monday, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, expressed his pride in this meeting before the representatives of the two chambers of Parliament, which represent the first honestly elected institution in all integrity, the new Algeria, away from corrupt money. The head of state affirmed the adoption of constructive dialogue and frankness as a culture in the management of public affairs, aiming to restore trust between citizens and authorities, a trust lost due to old practices. The President recalled the major challenges faced in the process of implementing this reform program, starting from the coronavirus pandemic and its negative repercussions at several levels. Affirming the success of the management of this crisis and highlighting the major role of the National People's Army in delivering vaccines and providing the necessary medical equipment, which were difficult to obtain for several countries. President Tebboune saluted the integrity of young people who didn't exaggerate in asking for an employment grant, reaffirming his great confidence and trust in these young people. He also highlighted the efforts made to combat corruption in its various forms, stressing the recovery of an amount of $30 billion in property, real estate, and industrial units, and that efforts are continuing to recover the people's money, adding that European countries have shown willingness to help Algeria to recover the funds that were smuggled. The President of the Republic also announced a 50% reduction in airplane ticket prices for the benefit of members of the national community established abroad, to allow them to spend the holy month of Ramadan in the country.
In his speech, the President of the Republic delved into Algeria's economic diplomacy, shedding light on major trade exchanges and outlining aspirations for the future years. With a resounding emphasis, he highlighted the critical importance of preserving Algeria's sovereignty. Further details with Sabrine Tefergenit.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, and in his speech highlighted and stressed Algeria's biggest achievements in its history. He emphasized that the growth value reached 2.4% without any debt from international financial institutions, a figure with a global recognition from the World Bank in its report issued last week with the International Monetary Fund, in which Algeria got considered as one of the few countries with no debt. He also recalled that the Food and Agriculture Organization is considering Algeria as the only country in Africa or the second with no feeding problems. The President of the Republic hailed the efforts made in order to exploit the country's mining wealth by launching structured projects to diversify exports. The President also reaffirmed and recalled Algeria's objective of exporting 5 million tons of iron, a figure which once was just 1 million, a strategy that removes dependency on hydrocarbon only, as Algeria is a country that is benefiting from all kinds of mines, taking the example of Garaj Bilad mine being the world's second or third reserve of iron. In his speech before the parliament, the president also highlighted the important role of Garaj Bilad mine in enhancing the country's capabilities in iron production, while stressing that once the phosphate mines in Bled El Hadba will be entirely and fully exploited, Algeria will be the biggest country to export phosphate. In this context, the President recalled the strict instructions given to forbid exporting raw materials before its conversion process, since its conversion creates additional value and job opportunities. The President of the Republic renewed his commitment of not resorting to external debt in order to preserve Algeria's sovereign decisions and firm positions. He stressed resorting to external debt would only deprive the citizens from the most basic rights, so Algeria should focus on its economy and trade policies instead. The President of the Republic reviewed the great strides and achievements made by the new Algeria in the field of production, manufacturing and export, revealing that the exchange reserve exceeds $70 billion, a figure reached without depriving the citizen from anything, despite the attempts aiming to create scarcity of some goods. The President of the Republic reiterated as well Algeria's support for Palestinian and Sahrawi causes, affirming that the country will continue vigorously defending the principles of its liberation revolution and will never abandon vulnerable states.
Following the President's speech, reactions unfolded among citizens and Parliament members. They both expressed their optimism and satisfaction, appreciating the clarity of the speech and the inclusion of concrete numbers, a positive sentiment that reflects a hopeful outlook for the future. Story by Najah Diyar.
Following the President of the Republic's speech, the deputies present have expressed their opinions about the President of the Republic's crucial commitments realization, thanks to his vision and hard work on solving the existing issues and developing the country that resulted in the remarkable country's development at all levels. In his speech, the President of the Republic has stressed the importance of building cohesion across all the corners of the country, because Algeria is a united and indivisible country. We thank the President of the Republic for the restoration of this new tradition of communication with the citizens through the National People's Assembly and the Council of the Nation, which gives a new impetus to the communication between the executives and the people, which will contribute in the country's development regarding all the sectors and what concerns the daily lives of the people. The President of the Republic gave a strong speech in which he presented a review of the last 4 years with figures and the number of the achievements and his commitments that have been realized. He also stressed the importance of the youth category, also the balance between all the regions of the Algerian territory. And at the end of his speech, the President of the Republic has encouraged the Algerian community abroad to spend the holy month of Ramadan in Algeria, announcing a reduction of ticket price of 50% as a testimony to the importance he grants to the Algerians all around the world. We thank the President of the Republic today and congratulate him for his success in realizing his 34 promises in 4 years. Long live Algeria. After the head of the state speech, all Algerians are more optimistic on Algeria's path and are even more encouraged to put hand in hand and build the new Algeria together.
4 years ago, since President Abdelmajid Tebboune assumed office, Algeria has undergone a profound transformation, skillfully realigning its constitutional institutions, a strategic transformation that paved the way for a revitalized new Algeria. Najah Tayyar once again.
انتهينا من الشيء اللي توعدنا به دستوريا والمؤسسات الدستورية أصبحت كلها إن شاء الله قائمة.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, launched a process of an institutional reform the moment he was elected in December 2019. This process began with the drafting of a new constitution, which has since enabled the creation of institutions such as the Constitutional Court. As a part of the ambitious reforms aimed at laying the foundation of a new state, the institution of the Ombudsman of the Republic creation took place in February 2020, and being the institution that links citizens directly to the President of the Republic, it was able to demonstrate its significant presence by responding optimally to the citizens' concerns and playing an active role in monitoring projects.
It's through the mediator of the Republic that the demands of citizens have reached the highest authorities of the country, such as the governor and the various ministerial departments, and eventually resolved.
As a part of the same drive for far-reaching reforms, the General Inspectorate of the Presidency of the Republic was created, one of the most important commitments which the head of the state wished to put up into practice on the ground, aiming at restoring the trust lost between the authorities and the public as a result of previous accumulations, aiming also to strengthening governance while fighting corruption and putting an end to the political impunity. Promoting transparency and accountability is also one of the tasks of the National Authority for Transparency and the Prevention of Corruption. This institution has extensive new powers to fight corruption in all its forms and promote transparency in the management of the public finances. The power granted by the 2020 Constitution in accordance with the 4th presidential commitment. These commitments include guaranteeing access to quality health care for all citizens, which led to the creation of the National Health Security Agency.
The creation of this agency for health security truly embodies the institution's objectives, which is the citizens' well-being that is at the heart of the concerns and priorities of the President of the Republic's program.
In line with the commitments made by the President of the Republic to promote rights and freedoms, the National Authority for the Protection of Personal Data has been set up with the aim of safeguarding individual rights and public freedoms and respecting privacy.
The establishment of a personal data protection authority is crucial because this information also affects human rights. Data, including our personal data, is stored in specific databases. Algeria has done a commendable job in assuring its citizens that their personal data is safe and secure, underlining its commitment to individual rights and the protection of privacy.
Investing in the development of young people's skills and preparing them to take on political, economic and social responsibilities has a great significance. This mission has been entrusted to the High Council for Youth in collaboration with the National Observatory for Civil Society. These bodies are the advisory bodies to the President of the Republic, promoting dialogue, consultation, proposals and forward planning on issues affecting the daily lives of citizens. And with the creation of these bodies, Algeria has completed its institutional journey and succeeding thus in meeting the challenge of political stability.
نجم نفتخروا كل كيما رانا مش القضية ماهيش الشخصية نتاعي أننا بدينا نبنوا في دولة مؤسسات شرعية.
And the relentless daily bombings continue in Gaza, with the Zionist entity showing no sign of cessation. Meanwhile, hospitals, residential buildings and schools, havens for civilians and the injured, bear the brunt of these bloody attacks. This morning, El Maghazi refugee camp became the latest target, exacerbating the already dire humanitarian situation in the region. An update on the situation in Palestine with Yassine Hamdi.
Buildings completely destroyed, streets turned into bloodbaths. The refugees in El Maghazi camp in the center of the Gaza Strip see with desolation the extent of the damage caused by a deadly Zionist strike.
كانت الساعة ما يقرب الساعة 9:30 فوجئنا بقصف هذا المنزل.
It was 9:30 in the morning when the Zionist entity started suddenly bombing us. The refugee camp that was supposedly secure was affected. The refugees thought they would be safe here. There are 6 or 7 schools hosting 10 refugees nearby the camp. All this area is supposed to be protected, but as you can see, it is not.
تجمع للمدارس ربما يكون 6-7 مدارس، كل مدرسة فيها أكثر من 4-5 نازح، وهذه المنطقة بشكل عام مصنفة آمنة.
According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, the attack on Wednesday night caused more than 70 victims, tens of wounded, mostly children and women, and destroyed an entire block.
We were sitting around the table for dinner when the bombing started. All the houses, including ours, were completely destroyed.
Still in the center of Gaza, the Zionist aviation bombed the areas around schools from Abu Halu to Al Buraiji in the entrance of Zawiyada town. In Jabalia, the occupation forces also bombed at early morning several residential areas and agricultural fields, causing fires in many places. The World Health Organization was alarmed by the number of starving patients met by its teams during the weekend in many hospitals of the Gaza Strip. They noticed a growing desperation due to hunger, urging for an immediate increase of food and water delivery to assure the health and the stability of the population.
And amidst the natural splendor of Al Hamma's century-old trees, children engage in artistic activities, awakening a deep sense of responsibility for our precious environment via this thoughtfully selected school vacation program. More insights with Yassine Hamdi.
Early morning, children and their parents run inside this fairy place, the botanical garden of Al Hamma in Algiers. These visitors, coming from all over the country, are enchanted by a special kind of magic that makes them forget about the noise in the city. As soon as they cross the portal, they merge with nature, a special environment that reminds them the jungle.
I want to see the Tarzan tree. It's very beautiful and big. I'm really happy to be here.
C'est une occasion de les séparer, de les éloigner un peu des écrans.
It's an occasion to keep them away from the screens. They've been running all day. They're very happy.
And to keep the kids busy during the winter holidays. A various program, including fun shows and drawing workshops about nature, was launched by the Botanical Garden Management Company.
Nous avons concocté un petit programme pour nos visiteurs.
We created a program for our visitors from different ages, especially children, such as drawing workshops in nature.
Où là, nous avons préparé des ateliers de dessin en pleine nature.
On a lancé l'événement.
We launched this event a month ago. We worked with content creators and sponsors. It's the first edition. It was hard, but we handled it. In order to offer a better experience to the visitors of this rightly called space, the Lung of Algiers, a rehabilitation and upgrade operation is ongoing.
Ceci inclut la remise en état de la chaussée.
It includes the rehabilitation of the roadway and the upgrading of the urban furniture, such as the new benches and the public lighting. We want to offer the best experience to our visitors. The visitors, amazed by one of the most remarkable botanic gardens in the world, have to respect the restrictions that preserve the rare plant spaces and the beauty of this magical place that attracts Algerian and foreign tourists.
And with that, our today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for tuning in.